Yeah, yeah. You already know what it is.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Vansiclen podcast. Today, my guest is a boss, Mr. David Hohimer. He is the owner of Hohimer Wealth Management, one of my sponsors for my boxing career, and just a great mentor. Thank you for being on the show, David.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. Love to sponsor you. Great thing about mentoring is it goes both ways. It starts one direction, and then typically a good relationship. Both parties, the mentor and the mentee, kind of start to switch roles after time. Like you've been a mentor to me when it comes to boxing. I've learned so much, and I probably didn't even know like a tenth of what you know, right? Because
Right.
I'm not getting punched in the mouth or the face, but being a neophyte in boxing, you've taught me so much in the last 2 years that has been great.
Thank you, David. Without your support, like the career probably would have stalled a little bit, and your guidance and help definitely helped us get through those COVID moments when we were fighting over there in Montana. That really pushed my career to the next level, and that's why we're at where we're at today, still undefeated, and have some really big fights coming up here in the future. So really
You,
appreciate you.
you know what I like to say? The champ is here.
That's right. The champ is here.
The champ is here. Come on.
That's right. That's me. So, Mr. Homehire, you were born in Chicago, is that correct?
Yeah, born in Chicago,
Eh,
1970.
Oh, you're giving us a date, huh? Oh,
I
just
mean,
dating
yeah,
me.
52.
Okay, so you were born in Chicago. What was your childhood like growing up in Chicago?
If you ask any kid, it's a childhood. When you get older and you start to get more experience and you can actually look back towards your childhood. I grew up in a subsidized housing, or
Mm,
projects, and
yeah.
and this story is not new to anybody, right? I mean, one of the kids, it was difficult, but we had loving parents, loving siblings, and we didn't know we were poor.
Right.
It wasn't until I got older when I realized I was poor.
Well, that's lovely because that's the parallel that we share in common. Growing up in the subsidized housing and basically, like you said, having parents that love you. I had a mom that loved me, so that was definitely something that helped me. In terms of your mindset, how did you get through those hard times? What was your what mindset did you have to get through that?
When you're a kid, you don't have options, right? You don't know of options, and you just know that you just got to go forward, right? I mean, there's not a book, there's no manual that we get as kids that say we have option A, B, C, and D. Back then, it was, if we're drinking powder milk, we're drinking powder milk. It's you don't say no, right? So I think just being persistent and knowing that tomorrow's going to be another day is the mindset that there's always another day, there's always another opportunity, there's always a way to move forward.
Right. Did you play any sports or any instruments?
Sports, yeah, I played a bunch of sports. I played basketball, football. I loved wrestling. So in my youth, I played all of them. I was terrible at instruments. I played a trombone for 2 years, and I think my band director begged me to stop. So it's like the Spanish teacher. After two classes with my Spanish teacher, she was like, "Mr. Weiber, if you don't come back, I'll pass you."
Um,
So
if you could go back and tell your younger self something like that today that you're going to be successful or whatever it is, what would you tell your younger self?
a lot of things I'd tell my younger self, but if I had three things to sum it up, I would definitely tell my younger self, uh, stay with your passion. Right? I've been very fortunate in life to listen to my dad that said, do something you love and not for the money. So stay with your passion has been a really, really, really fortunate thing. It's been a strategy and a lifestyle that I just stayed with it. And it served me well. Don't be so hard on yourself. I often joke that we shouldn't be hard on ourselves because no one gets out alive in this life, right? Think about the third one. Since I only get three, I want to think about the third one. So the
Yeah.
first two would be stay with your passion and don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, and I love that quote that you just said. I'm gonna use that on one of my Instagram posts. I'm not gonna lie, no one gets out alive.
Don't take it serious because no one gets out alive. I mean,
100%, and I love your mentality because that's true. Because at the end of the day, you only get X amount of days, and you have time. and you can't be too hard on yourself because, well, I was just talking to the CEO of ASRV yesterday, and one of the things he said was, at the end of the day, we only get a small percentage of when we tell ourselves we're awesome, and then most of the times we're, telling we're a piece of crap, like that self talk. That's why he was saying somebody like Muhammad Ali was just so good at being delusional, because he just had that crazy self-talk that, even if it was cocky, but it was retraining your brain to just be positive and tell yourself that you're awesome because you are.
And you're right. The world is going to beat you up, right? The world is tough. It's brutal. It's not fun. There's a lot of people that are screwed up, that carry a lot of baggage, and they put it on you. So the last thing you need to do is beat yourself up, because guess what? The world will do it for you.
And it's already you versus you. You don't need, the world too, So
Yeah.
exactly. You should be on your own team. You should be your biggest fan always. Self-love is important. Did you watch boxing growing up? Was that a thing in your house?
Right? I mean, we watched Muhammad Ali. That was an icon person. George Foreman, Sugar Ray Leonard, Lennox Lewis. I mean, so we watched a lot of boxing when the fight was on. I was down in Vegas with my wife, and we ran into Evander Holyfield, talked
Nice.
to him. But since I've known you and really started to take an interest in your career, your story, right? I want to intertwine HWM with Richard's story. Then I started actually saying, how does this work? How do the points work? What is boxing? How to jabs? How to slip? Why do people grab each other or clamp each other? So I've taken a more active interest so I can actually understand the technical aspects. And that actually gives me kind of more insight and actually more respect for boxers like Floyd Mayweather,
Yeah.
where, outwardly, when you watch him fight, he's not a Mike Tyson or a Tyson Fury. When you start to understand the technical aspects of boxing, he's an icon, right? I mean, he's a technical as they come, right? He's getting the point. He's protecting himself at all times. So that actually has been fun. Like, over the last couple of years of actually looking and understanding it, I'm now watching fights, and I will start to try to score it, but it's ridiculous because at the end of a match, I'm like, what? Oh.
Yeah, like my last fight, I'm sure.
Yeah, totally, right? Yeah, totally. We had you winning by 3 to 4 points. Now I understand it. And that was a total garbage call. We watched the whole fight. So, but it's actually been kind of cool to actually understand the technical aspect, even the concept of how many rounds you box. Like, that was interesting to me, where, you box in 4, 6, 8, 10 rounds. We want to get to 10 and 12 rounds, right? We want to get the title. And just knowing that everybody doesn't get a 10-round fight or a 12-round fight or even 8, right? And so I didn't understand all that technical aspect. So that's been kind of fun for me to learn.
Yeah, and like you came at such a critical time in my career where I went from the 6-round fights to the 8-round fights. Now I'm at 10-round fights, moving on to 12-round fights. So yeah, you came at it like a perfect time to understand the growth that has to happen as a fighter.
I thought everybody did 8 and 10 and 12-round fights.
No, yeah, there's different rounds of fighters, and then you start understanding like how good you have to be to get to those levels. Because, like you said, they shake the blanket off. They let the people that can't hang fall out. That's cool that you said that. Thanks for sharing that with me.
Well, and you know what, I got to tell you, that whether you're 6, 8, 10, or 12 is whether you're a hobbyist or you're a professional.
Yep.
Right. And that's that determination. That's that persistence. That's that grind. That's that I'm going to make it to the next level. And it doesn't sound like much to go from 8 to 12, but man, it's brutal. Time, energy, technical expertise, conditioning. Yeah. When I watch you in the ring, it's brutal. And I'm not so much even the brutal in the aspect of the fighting aspect, but just the conditioning, right? Just to add an extra 6 or 12 minutes. Doesn't sound like much, but then I tell everybody, get in and do it, right?
Yeah, get in for 30 seconds and let somebody try to hit you and see how tired you are.
Yeah, I hear you.
In your work today, what is the most challenging aspect? Having the firm, getting to the point where you're at, what is the most challenging aspect?
I'm fortunate enough that I have a really good partner. Wells Fargo allowed me to start Hohimer Wealth Management 4 years ago. And so I'm currently the managing partner of a $1 billion registered investment advisory firm based in Seattle. I'm fortunate. We got 15 people working there. We primarily have, 300 families in the Pacific Northwest that we have the opportunity to serve. We really provide comprehensive wealth management And I would tell you probably the most challenging aspect is the behavior, the emotional side of managing people's monies, right? You got to manage their expectations. You got to help them manage their cash flows, the distributions, actually help them manage their dreams, right? Because money by itself is just money, right? But money with dreams, you kind of you get to kind of accomplish things, whether it's putting children or grandchildren through college, buying a house, helping your kids. Like we've been fortunate to help our 4 children buy their first home. Those are things that are important to us that we want to be able to have someone help us manage to kind of hit those goals. We're overseeing over $1 billion for folks, and we're doing a lot of good things, right? We got a philanthropic piece that we give back to the communities that we work in. We love to do that. We love to actually be involved with the same philanthropic endeavors as our clients. So if we can support what they're doing, come alongside of them, and actually internally, every employee gets an opportunity to announce a charity or some kind of philanthropic service that they would like the firm to give money to and support. So
Right.
we're really all about providing, white glove service from a comprehensive wealth management and also giving back to the communities that we work and live in.
Currently, you're in Seattle, and I know you had some other. Did you have office in Florida? Is correct as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. We were working on Florida. Florida is just booming. So trying to get space, trying to move folks around, trying to get employees have been a little bit more challenging, all while you're still running a business and managing the economy. Yeah, we're excited about that. We're excited about Florida. It's going much slower than we anticipated, but we continue to kind of trudge along and keep moving at our pace.
Yeah. You have a quote that's probably one of my favorite quotes. I told you this when you said it, but I need you to explain to the Vibers what it means. And that quote is, "Why not you?" What does that mean?
Oh, you remember that when we got
Oh, yeah.
that. But one of the things I learned early on is most people will look at life and say, "Why me? Why me? Like, why am I getting this bad luck? Why am I got dealt, lemons? Why am I getting kicked out? Why me? Why me, Lord? Why me?" Right? And I get it, right? It's easier to fall back to woe is me, but I tend to look at it and say, "Why not me? Why not me?" In the sense of why not me being a person that runs and manages a 2 billion, 3 billion, $4 billion firm that does good work for clients. Why not me? I can't help my 4 sons buy their first house. Why not me? Right? I mean, the concept is I don't want to focus on the negative. I want to focus on the positive. And the positive, why not me? Give me a reason why we can't be successful. We can't hit our dreams and goals if we just put the work in. Right? When I was talking to you, why not you? You tell me what when I say the champ is here, why not? People need to explain to me why they can't be successful versus telling me why the whole world's out to get them. We know the whole world's out to get us, right? We know that
Right.
it's just competitive, right? It's a competitive piece. But why not? Why not us? Why not you being the next champ, right? Why not? I
Yeah.
mean, so I just want folks, if there's a takeaway, why not? Why not me? I mean, that's my theory.
Absolutely. I really appreciate you dropping knowledge on the podcast here, and whoever watches this, there's some takeaways from the beautiful message that you just gave us, and I appreciate you, man.
Hey, tell me this. Tell me when's your next big fight. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So the next big fight is June 9th, and June 9th is going to be in New York. It's Hall of Fame weekend, and when we win this fight, we're going to be ranked top in the world. And so after that, the sky's the limit.
Hey, why not me, baby? Right?
Exactly. We're going to win it too. It's
Remember,
true.
the best is yet to happen.
David, thank you again for being on my podcast. I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks, bud.
Until next time.
Okay.
Yeah.